holding crystals. Yay. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Alchemist and Oracle, where we engage in spiritualized conversations that deepen understanding, inspire transformation, and spark meaningful dialogue about life's most profound truths. I am Nicole Love, the Oracle, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Warrioress, Artist RN, the Alchemist. So welcome to the Alchemist and the Oracle. So today, we're doing a countdown to my birthday, which is also the countdown to our summer break. And so I have topics in here that I want to pull. I don't know what the topic is going to be.
Breaking up, babe.
And sorry. You were saying?
No, you were breaking up. I thought. No, you were breaking up, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So I have the topics in here. I'm going to pull them. She doesn't know what topics they are. She's in full on freak out mode about this. Her Taurian nature is like, this is some BS. All right, you wanted me to use, she wants me to use my left hand, which goes against my nature. So we'll try to pass. Okay, remember, you're the reason we got this topic.
Oh, really? To think is to create.
So I think this is a great topic. So the topic today that we're going to be talking about is finding balance in an unbalanced world. And the note on here is balance isn't perfection, it's recalibration. And I think this is a perfect topic.
Repeat.
Balance isn't perfection, it's recalibration.
Okay, title again for everybody.
Finding balance in an unbalanced world.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, great.
Oh my God, she's on
It
one,
is
y'all,
unbalanced.
today. Are you good? You have everything you need?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure?
I'm
How do you feel about
positive.
that topic?
I think it's a great topic.
So the reason why I selected this is I think it aligns with where we are energetically. I think a lot of people are not grounding as much as they need to. And so it's like, let's have a conversation about what that means to us. So what do you, when you think of balance, what does that mean for you? What does balance mean for you? Because I find this is something different for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a scale or anything to have that balance. When you're off, it's like you're having a tug and pull. And balancing energies and natures is something that you can tell. Most people can tell when they're off. It's just that we have become so accustomed to being off center or, you know, operating in dysfunction or operating in an unbalanced way that it seems to be normal. It's just like when I was speaking a little bit on IG channel about finding peace in the chaos. So almost similar, finding that and settling down. And like you're talking about grounding, breathing, some of those things come in, and some of our Eastern culture is coming more into light than and in a way that it always should have been when it comes to methodologies, the breathing, the being still, the slowing down. And I always said for many years that we need to slow down, knowing that, feeling going too fast, got to do this, got to make this one, got to do this, instead of just being still. And right now, this is a time for people to actually be still so they can balance energies and get more in tuned into whom you are. We'll probably talk about it lately and you'll get more on it because even though I know that this one of your places of expertise is talking about the chakras, the energy centers of the body. Major Yana talks about them a lot. And getting in that. And so when you're balanced or you're finding peace in the chaos, you feel a lot different. You feel a lot lighter, and even in mind, because you have to get the chaos or the actual, what we call it. There's a word for it. When the mind is going all the time and moving, the gotta do this, gotta do this. It's just like, and I use driving as in this example, and I try to catch myself as that I'm gonna get where I need to go because I need to get there. But if I'm ill much in a rush, and if anybody makes a little mistake, especially when you're going 75 miles an hour on the interstate, 80, 70, it don't matter,
Mm,
60, 55. And I had just seen an accident. I had drove by there, wasn't nothing, came back that way, went back, car laying on his side. Well, whoever was in that car, I pray to God they were all right. And if there was another one involved, I pray they're all right because I chose not to long neck. Everybody else was, I mean, seriously, what we call long necking. I think that's the word. I might have changed it on my own. And that slows the traffic down on your side when the accident wasn't on your side. And I mean, it was intense. And I mean, wasn't nothing going on. And if you have a wall between you, there was nothing that no one could do. So you're not going to get to where you go rushing and stuff and find out why it is that we are. And so I look at the chaos of whatever is in the mind behind somebody in the wheel, especially when they're going in and out. Look at somebody who's going in and out of traffic, just speeds of dodging in and out, barely any room in front of the other car. And that's a dangerous. So definitely there's no center within them, and there's definitely an unbalance when we look at what's going on in the mind when you're moving like that.
mm,
And energies, the thought patterns, the things that we do to try to have this rhythm to be on that. It's just like watching The Price is Right when they do that one again with a balance off, and then one of the signs like the price is you're trying to get here, and when you get here, then you'll feel an enormous amount of peace is the reason why being still, the breathing that. And I'm gonna tell you, the ego gonna fight it. Even with me, it's still that because I'm transcending um into a higher level of being and a higher level as an alchemist as I continue to transmute myself into a beingness that is definitely that being asked of me. And so there is a lot because you're gonna fight that because we're comfortable with where we are sometimes, and that's where we get used to being in how we've operated all the time. And that's something that, as you more be still, as you more look at why is the same thing going on. It's even with relationship, why is I'm attracting the same person, why I'm still going through this because of what we think and the energy that we bring. So balance is key to knowing and feeling where it is that you need to be. So we need to slow down. There is a lot going on. People are worried about these things with job, the all kind of stuff. But the thing is to be still. And I know that I've done it some umpteen decades ago, whatever umpteen decades means to me. And had to make that shift when I had to release one of my other jobs due to some physical challenges. And and you have to sit still enough to figure out how it is that it can help. So, and then certain things came and applied for this, did this until I got into, the next phase of and what I chose that I would do instead of something else. I just don't settle. So I was able to find the job that I wanted and to do that and to get into it because I didn't settle, but I was still able to provide in the meantime until that came. And so from anything from, unemployment to whatever that nature may be, or still assisting people in a certain matter. And I'm saying that because of what's going on now, that that it would be all right. And even though we weren't in those times at that time, still for me, it felt like that because I had to make a shift. I had to keep, getting the rent pay. I had to keep doing these things. So it was for me to just be still or to or to methodically think, what is the next move and what is it that I can, or what is it can I do? So I searched for things that, dealt with my skill set and that I still wanted to do anything. I didn't want to do anything other than what I knew because I was very good at it. And I had several other backgrounds as well. So I did get another job temporarily until the other one came through. So sometimes you do what you have to in the meantime. And that's where, you find peace and find the joy, and then it worked itself out. So, as I ask people just to be patient with yourself, be patient to the moves, do the research. One of our dear ones talks about, doing your research. I think it's Tony. And I forget one of his quotes, but it's around that basis. So, like you said, there's a lot going on. We just need to we just need to be still or take a walk in the park, do whatever you need to do to find some type of peace, to find and get to a balance. And it's not going to happen overnight, but you will notice it each day and every day that it can be in a shorter time than not. Mine was in a shorter time. So I would say a couple of weeks, 3 weeks to go ahead and do stuff, but it took a lot. It's a lot easier today because of the computerization that we have now and the technology that I didn't have back then.
Yeah. I think so. You mentioned like a really important aspect of how I look at balance versus imbalance, just through how I'm able to kind of read in between the lines of what people tell me is imbalance versus what is the body is expressing the
Yes.
truth, the ultimate truth statement in that manner. And so it's the chakra centers are really perfect energy zones that can be a great litmus test. It can be like you can go in and it's going to be honest. You could be saying, because it's so funny how I had like a session the other day. It was a consultation, and I was called to like read her chakras because she was presenting very differently, but the energy feedback that I was getting was just so aggressive and so intense. But she was speaking like da 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 very sweetly, and I was like, something's off. Something is not right here.
Yeah.
So me being me, I'm like okay, go ahead, and I'm like on the other end, she can't see me. I'm like just kind of reading into her chakras, and they said a completely different story. So my point here is I feel like it's important that acknowledgement piece is so important. I think a lot of people are trying to pretend like they're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I remember
I
that.
also want to acknowledge that sometimes that pretending can make them feel a lot more, can give this sensing of balance in some way. So I think it's important to allow yourself to balance yourself, right? And ask yourself, is this really a healthy way of bringing balance into our life, into my life? Because I recognize that sometimes we have unhealthy habits, but at the same time, okay, so we're still recording. I'm going to keep going. Whenever I talk about energy in that way, my computer kicks me out. I don't know a workaround. I really don't. I kid you not. I was having a conversation the other week about chakras and it did the same damn thing. But if I'm talking about like other like, hey, what did you cook today? Or what did you eat? No internet problems. So I'll pick up here because
Wow.
I don't even remember like where it was going. Because I was
I'm
like,
right here.
wow. So your chakras are really good access points to kind of work on finding balance in your life. That's where I'm going with
Right.
this. So if you can get familiar with the seven main chakras, and I mean the main chakras that are within your body, so like your root chakra, I feel a lot of people are 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 really struggling with the root chakra right now. That is that sense of safety and security and stability in this world. Um, for a lot of reasons. But so you have root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakra. Those are the seven main chakras for those. And my internet connection is saying it's unstable. I rebuke you in the name of Satan. Let me hold my crystal. You know what? I realize that's not in my area that I always have in here is my shungite.
I told you she was going to talk about the chakras.
The shungite is missing. I don't know where it
I
went.
wonder where mine is. It's in
So
here somewhere.
balance is not perfection. This whole back and forth here is just a reminder of the lack. Perfection doesn't exist. And how do you find balance is to breathe through it, to meet yourself where you are, and to make the adjustments in the now moments. Because I could be really frustrated. I could be like cussing and like, oh my God, what is going on? It won't let me be great. Versus I'm like, okay, this is hilarious. This is this is really hilarious. Um, and I think it the point that kind of comes out of this is how can you find the humor in the effery. I'm trying really hard. I'm not going to cuss on here anymore. The effery of what's
The
going on in the
chaos.
world.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you kind of look at some of the things that are going on in the world, it's just so ridiculous. Would
Yeah.
you say that? Like the ridiculousness of it, like the ridiculousness of the fact that we are where we are as a country on so many different levels. And so I've I find finding the humor in what you're going through can give you a little bit of release. And when you get that release, it's like that recalibration that I was talking about. That balance is not about perfection, it's about recalibration. It can kind of lighten the load a little bit. And I think we get so serious about things, and it goes back to the four agreements. I feel like we always talk about the four agreements is we take things so personally.
Personally.
Take the
Yeah.
things that happen in our life on such a level that we feel attacked or we just tap out of life. And it's like, no, how can I not take it personally as an attack, but how can I acknowledge that I may be pissed off and angry, like especially the job situation, pissed off, angry that this has happened. You know, I feel some kind of way about, you know, maybe how I was laid off or what have you. Like acknowledge how you're feeling in the meantime. And then I always say give yourself
In the moment and to
give
come back to us and be present.
I
Yeah.
would say give yourself like an end point, like an end point of like, I'm gonna sit in my feelings for like 5 days. 5 days. I'm gonna give myself 5 days to feel how I feel. And then after that 5 day period, just like, okay, let's go into action. What can I do about it? And go from there. So I think sometimes we avoid the feeling how we feel. And I think a lot of times other people kind of push that narrative on us as well, thinking it's helpful. And I think it helps to sit in how we feel because when you get to the feelings of how you felt in being in that job, it helps you to become empowered and like seeking a new job out. Like, you know what? I call BS on these things here. I want to look for a new job that has something different. So that's how you can start to be empowered by the things that happen. But I think you have to sit in what you feel about it because there's power in that.
Yeah. Nothing is truly staying the same. in jobs. I mean, there are very few companies around where you're going to spend 20 years, maybe not even 10, which is kind of sad. 10, 30
That's not
years,
a thing anymore.
maybe not even 5. It just depends on growing and moving forth and with the technology and the shifting
They
and
say
things
it's
that's going on is that we
3.5
have to know
years
that.
now. 3.5 years now for people.
Yeah.
It's
And see,
crazy.
that's the whole thing is about being aware of that and looking ahead versus just getting too comfortable with that. And it depends on what that is. And I mean, well, I like being served by people who really care. I don't care what you're doing, just do it the best that you have until, you're making another move.
Mm.
But the balance is like, and you had cut off there for a little bit is making those shifts and planning for those shifts ahead of time so you're not caught off guard. Another thing with me finding balance when we're talking about finances and that is going ahead and knowing and honoring, how I feel about longevity and calling it forth is setting yourself up. One of the biggest things that I know far as finding balance is that is having in what we call an emergency fund when I with the company called Primerica and and having yourself set up so you don't find yourself surprised or balanced when you have to make moves and they say that you need to have at least I'm gonna say a year's worth. People used to say 6 months, 8 months, but a minimum of a year to be able to foot your finances, including rent, mortgage, or whatever, to be able to eat in that stuff just in case something goes down. But the whole thing is to be aware of what's going on with who you're working for, especially now. Um, Background, how the company's being run, how many things are going on, and the biggest thing is just to come in with you and know that you have all that you need to actually be the best that you can if there's a shift or a moment to make. And sometimes people are just finding, to go their own thing. As I think I've spoken one of our, the younger that you are, you need to start somewhere. So we always need somebody working somewhere. It's just doing and being the best that you can be and always coming back. But I've always understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience and body. And that comes, from our dear teacher, Ia, which is true, and others have said it. And as you get more connected, get more understanding your life journey, you'll understand that you won't be having to take things personal. And especially even people in our lives, it was hard for me to understand balance how people come. There's a reason. Some people are for a reason, for a season, some people for a lifetime. It's still hard to comprehend that. And jobs are pretty much a reason for a season now, and not so much a lifetime now unless you create it. And then you have, you can oversee it. But the basic thing is to get more calm, to listen to calming music in the mornings, to really just set yourself up to go into the world and then to not now one of my young friends I know that's lives in a town where I spent many years, I call it my second home.
I'm positive, but we're good.
Oh, got it. Okay.
This
Finding
is destabilizing her 100%. I think it's ironic that this is happening while we're talking about finding balance in an unbalanced world.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I don't I mean everything wants to get in the way of you having that balance is what I think is going on. just I
I'm saying
mean,
so many prayers.
I know, right? I
This is
mean,
such a
because it's
teachable
so
moment,
key.
though, right?
It
So I have a
is,
question for you,
people
right?
could get frustrated. We could, but why get frustrated? Just
But
keep it
I think it's
moving.
also, because me, I'm always one like, let's sit in the chaos. Let's sit in the shadow parts. Let's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's be angry and like all that thing. Like, let's not avoid the feelings, right? And how can we make a plan to proceed forward accordingly to no longer feel those way, no longer feel that anger or the frustration? Are you frozen again? Oh my, I you may need to put a pin in this. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna shut up. Um, wow. We have never had this many issues.
No, we haven't. That's interesting to say the least. Um, I don't know, the powers that be don't want nobody to find balance. We already have enough chaos. It did,
Oh,
we need, like I said, peace. Peace is they're almost connected. You know, it's just like, certain things that are happening when I try to go to one of my spots and people are like, why are you going to a peaceful space and bringing your stuff there, bringing your like, for lack of a idiotic behavior to a place of serenity. And it's just getting passed on and passed on when I look at here, look at the kids and looking at the schooling and what they're trying to do to keep us, I guess keep us dumbed down. And
mhm.
I'm to dumbed down. Oh, that's just a no. So, oh, I forgot my no glasses. But
Dumb it down. It reminds me of a song by Lupe Fiasco, a song called Dumb It Down.
hmm,
He's
you don't have to
talking
share that one
about,
with me. Hmm.
you'll like it because he's talking about, so Lupe Fiasco, he's a really good rapper. Um, but he's talking, it's like a conversation that he's having with, I guess kind of like a music executive saying like, no, you need to dumb down your
Mm,
lyrics, you need to dumb down your videos, and I'll send it to you. It's a really good.
mm.
I remember when I heard
Well,
that,
I guess
it was definitely
the
that going
energy
on.
don't want you to continue speaking on that matter because you just froze again.
I know.
I don't know what to say. It's just, I'm not surprised, but most people be like, oh, I'm like, y'all don't get it. That's why Major Jesus is doing the work she doing about awakening and connecting with stuff that people would say, oh, that's foo-foo, is this and that. And I say, well, you say that, then you missing out. You missing out. It's just like nerds. Nerds are the ones that made some of this stuff that this here computer we own possible. And I like being a nerd. But I'm a fun one. I'm a dancing alchemist. I'm a climbing rock alchemist. I'm a racing alchemist. I like to have fun, and then sometimes I just like to chill. I like to just have the peace and the quiet.
Peace.
I like challenging young people because
Peace.
if you can beat me, then you're getting good. I'm a Jenga master too.
She's so competitive on so many levels. Jenga master. Okay. Okay.
Get better. I don't even play a lot. I'm telling you, it's all about the mind. It's just the mind is divine. To think is to create.
I feel like we should go there. Like, there's a lot of things that I don't talk about in public spaces because
13,
they're
13.
listening, right? And so I'm going to attempt to see if
Mm.
I can say it here. But why why is the world the way it is right now? That's where I would say I'll say question that curiously from your
Okay,
level
you're gonna
of
have to attempt to
understanding.
say it because you just got stuck
I didn't
again.
get stuck, so it picked it up. It didn't pick you up.
You
So
got to start over. Even my
no, it picked
phone,
it
I'm
up,
not even talking
but
to
you
it, and
didn't hear
it's
me.
picking me up. So listening,
What is going on?
yeah, it's listening.
This is just confirmation of
I didn't
of
even say
what
nothing.
is
I
going
need
on
to.
in the world. We live
I
in the
need to.
world
I need to
that
find out what it hurt.
that's listening.
Yeah, girl.
We have devices that are in our house. I don't have an Alexa. I don't have any of those
Yeah,
devices in my house.
I wasn't gonna get
And
them
I'm gonna
either,
tell
but
you why I didn't get
oh
one
why?
was I had a conversation with a family member who,
Uh,
come to find out, was in the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
I
Did you
don't. I
hear
shouldn't have
that?
done it too. I saw a flash. Was it a flash?
What is going
I saw a flash. I wouldn't have had her in because he is listening. But oh
on? It's
well.
crazy. I said that and then I heard some feedback.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I got on earphones. We both got. I mean, I don't know what to say, but it just did. I don't know what it heard, but it was just
okay,
across my
I'm going to
screen.
try to say it really, really quickly. We live in a world that there is extreme manipulation going on.
Yes.
And I think when you start to realize and understand how the world is operating, you start to see things. That's what they talk about, the matrix. We live in this matrix. So it's like, do you like which pill are you going to take, right?
I love that movie. Yeah, 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 yeah. I need to watch it
It's
again.
so deep. It's such a deep
Yeah, I
movie
need to
on
watch it
so
again.
many levels. But I feel like that's part of the imbalance. And the question I'm constantly kind of mulling over in my head is balance even really the goal, right? Is that the goal? Is that really the goal? Because can that actually be obtainable consistently? And you can't. And here's why. We as human beings we're energy. Like everything is energy. And the way
Yep,
that
yep.
we are designed, our humanness is designed, is that our energy is so easily manipulated. It's so
Yeah.
easily, it's so easy for us to like go into spaces, be like, hey, and you walk into a space and instantly you're just kind of like, ooh, that's because we're so energetically sensitive, as well as because of that, where it's easy
So,
for our energy to be kind of knocked off so easily in that way. So when you start to understand how we as humans are designed, how the world around us is aware of that innate design, you start to understand why there's manipulation going on, how the manipulation is going on. And this is the question everyone needs to like lean in curiously here. Why? Why do you think it's happening? I'm not going to say it. I think I know why, and I'm sure she knows why in her own way too. You have to get the why for yourself. You have to explore that journey for yourself, because I realized that you have to feel it in your body. You have to have the muscle memory. You have to have the brain and heart connection. You have to have that clicking in and that disconnecting out that you have to experience for yourself. So we could tell you like all the signs, da 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 da. I'm also
but
aware that there's
body
someone
knows.
listening. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised I have three of them in my house. I wasn't.
I'm like, no. After he had a conversation to me with me about the technology, I was like, oh hell no. It's even to the point where
I
every night,
could pull
and
them
if you
out.
have these devices, turn them off at night. Turn them, like if you're not using them, turn them off. Turn your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth off at night. Bluetooth is a big one, just from an energetic standpoint.
Hmm.
I turn off my laptop. And even before I turn it off, I even disable the Bluetooth function because I'm just that like crazy. Like, well, I don't know. Even though the computer is off, but is the Bluetooth really off if I don't toggle it off? And like my mind just kind of goes in that way.
Mm.
But the it's really balance is really about harmony, because when you
Okay.
understand
Right.
that
Right.
balance is not necessarily obtainable consistently, harmony
You have to continue to.
I feel like
Yes.
harmony is something that you can obtain to consistently, because some days you're just going to be like, I think as women, like especially if you're having a cycle, there's days where you just feel like crap when your cycle is on. So your energy is not as high, you're a lot slower, you just kind of want to sleep, you kind of want to rest, right? And it's
I think
how
that
can you
makes sense.
honor that with the harmony? And the harmony is resting.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's letting me be great. So this tells me we're on the right track in terms of the conversation that we're supposed to have. I'm gonna
So,
so your turn. Put it back over to you.
so, so when I look at balance, then you have this word alignment. Aligning, you're trying to, an
Oh my god!
alignment
Why is there
is
someone
even deeper.
outside?
Really?
I don't know who this person is in my yard. Y'all with them are they come for me?
That's all right. They're all right. Somebody in the house knows. Um,
I'm the only one here right now.
Maybe it's the meter man. Yeah, meter man, right? Yeah, meter man.
He came last week. I
What
know
is
because I was
electric
outside
and
and I saw
gas?
him.
You
Anyway,
have
you were
electric and
saying,
gas.
you were
I was
saying,
looking at alignment. And so when you look at balance, it's kind of just balancing energies. And when she talked about the menstrual, so
hmm,
for us women, and men have it too, it's just that there's most of people don't notice imbalances with men. And most imbalances with men have a lot to do with certain behaviors that seem to be unaddressed in their imbalances um, in nature, which has to do with mentality, things of that nature. And they have similar, it just seemed that the women are more. So my thing was many years ago, because I was one of those. And I found a woman when I was overseas that was much worse after she shared. And I was like, well, shoot. Um, twice a month, 7 days was defined it. I found it in food to help that and to help with some of those energies. Headaches happen with women who are when the endocrine system is off balance, especially for us, like she was talking. And then you look at certain energies, you look at how you feel. It's just like I've made expressions, maybe not expressions, but have talked about conversations about as you elevate, as you come closer, that you will pick up on the energies. There's just like Kirk Franklin's song, I probably mentioned it more, not everybody may or may not see this, talks about smile, and he mentions certain cities, including the one I'm in, about smile, and some that I recognize when I came home to visit. And it was just this shift, especially because of coming in, being away, kind of doing my mother, having some other things, having her coming, not coming, the shift that I saw from the 90s to the early 2000s to this and what was going on. And when I talk about harden, that means that there's a certain system or something going on within the city that has hardened people, or have they not found a way that has been to make a living in such a way, and that's an energy shift in and of itself. And then one of the key words that I found out is alignment, and alignment has a lot to do with aligning with your path,
hmm,
with your true path, and only looking at that, you have to be still and find out, because I have come to realize that even though I believe that God, Creator Source, has put something in my mind that they believe that I have to achieve, but I have to shift. I have to change. I have to align with being that person to make that happen. It happens for other people. Maybe their whole story is different, and you can't compare because it's a violence against your authentic self. Is that things had to have differently for me to see if I can step in there into what I have visioned or dreamed, or maybe there's been different for me. Maybe it isn't what I thought. And I figured that if something came into my mind when I was a young child, that that was possible. And coming to do the work that I'm doing now with Ia is sitting still, and she mentioned something about purifying the dream. It's like, why would I want to have this? Why would you want to be a millionaire? People said I don't want to, and all this, and people coming. I'm like, if you ain't around me now, you don't need to come. I can choose who I'm gonna do that with. So you have to grow into being that person. So you can't come around asking for nothing. You wasn't here now. So I'm just saying. So you set
What?
yourself up to be that person, to
Love the
set up to
truth in
be
that.
the CEO, the business owner, the
Mm.
multimillionaires. And what does that mean? What am I, what do I desire it for? What do I desire the what is it? You got the Bentley. What is my desire to drive a Bentley? Much love, maybe,
Do you want to
rent it.
own one? Do you want to own one or just drive one?
I thought about owning it.
I
Driving it would
think you
probably
would,
do good.
I don't
Yeah.
know that you would be,
Yeah,
given
I think
how
that's
much you
came to
care
me.
about your car, where
Yeah.
would you drive it?
I know, not here. That's for sure. I've
You
seen
would
a
just
couple, I've
drive it
seen
in your, you know
a
what?
little
You
circle.
have to like build your, when you build your house, you get, oh, maybe you can create
Build
a
a track.
track.
I know, a track. Oh God, that would be so sweet. That'd be so
Why do I know
sweet.
you so well to know that that would be like,
That would be awesome. I
oh my
mean,
gosh.
so she's right, because I've seen a few, and I know that some people and I know that there's one guy who has this oh my God, Lamborghini. And so I asked him the proverbial question. Of course, he doesn't go through any car washes. He washes it at home. I bet you he's got a car wash at the house. That would be even better. So, or to set up to wash it by hand, on a regular, and have all the things that you need. Not only that, he has the first model, which was the higher end model of the what's that electric car? I
Oh,
can't think. I see
the
55
Tesla.
million of them now, the Tesla. So that's the first one I see him in. Then you see him in the Lamborghini. And then there's a few Maseratis. And I'm like, you're right here, here, here. It would not ever go in the city. Ever.
That's so funny because I always remember I was stuck in traffic and I turned to my left and there was like this Lamborghini just stuck there. And I'm thinking, why are you here? And my mind just kind of like went off to this place of like, if I can afford a Lamborghini, I'm not going to be in traffic. No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. I'm not going to be stuck in traffic during commuter hours. Like,
Yes. The yeah, I mean, I think the option of renting it, considering I've experienced the Budweiser 8 car. Ah, woo!
Budweiser 8.
So,
Mm.
oh man, oh, that car was fun. Oh my God. So yeah, so we look at the alignment and the shifts of what that would be. Now I've thought about, the dream car was the Corvette. And I look at, okay, why I want the Corvette. I know that walking up to my own car that brings me joy is what the energy that I like, or the ability that I've been blessed so that I've served a lot of other people to be able to have that and to experience, and to show what's possible. And I don't know, maybe I'll be 90, maybe younger, but I ain't gonna wait till 90 to do some other things. I can't put it on here because I can't.
It ain't
But
nobody's business. Yeah.
yeah, there's the 90, a 90 something. Was she 99? She was 90 something. Girl jumped out the plane. I said, why wait to 90 to do it?
Well, at least she did it.
So
She could have,
exactly. So, and she was still here in body. So the
yeah.
energy led her to just be able to show and to understand what you choose, if that is the journey. But why do you want to do it? What's your purpose for doing it? And I was like,
Yeah.
people thought money. I said, no, honey, if that was the case, I'd have been had it, probably stepped on some people and toes, but that's not my nature, that's not my energy.
Mm.
And I have to understand that maybe it's not that. Like you said, I would have a blast renting and experiencing that while I still had the cool car that I like. But I've always desired the sports car, just the essence, more so the look. The attraction is the look, the body. I told one of the guys, he said, "I'm gonna next time you're gonna have me looking at a car differently." I said, "Go back and look at some of the older cars. They have there's an energy amongst them, and they were also, I told him, look, I said, these cars, if you go back, look at the old ones with the skirts, they can have the wide rim tire. They were built off of the female human body. If you go back, and I told him what type of car to look at, and where there's skirts that cover the wheels, which is the legs of the vehicle, and things of that nature. You look at the eyes, and I start looking at the cars, and there's a couple of them where you see the eyebrows, you see just the energetic essence that was created from human beingness. The car even operates like a human body, in its essence of what the oil does, and then the cooling is the endocrine system. I have went into something
Oh
here.
my gosh,
So
you have.
so the cooling system is just like hot when I'm hot, and the things that I'm using is plus this stuff to regulate. So cars are definitely very, I like cars. So I mean, and to connect with them, I can connect. I know when mine needs something. I know this and that just from sitting. I do a whole connection with it because it's such a divine blessing to be able to take yourself where you want to go. There's an energy in being able to do that. And so when you find that people in alignment of balance of when someone can't drive or their driver's license taken, when they have to rely on somebody else, there is a different energy shift in even their beingness. And that's why I say it's so important um to come within, look at yourself, what your life is. Some people say, I wouldn't want to live tonight. Well, I was like, why not? If you're not decrepit and you do the things that's necessary to live and eat, and I mean, you can cheat on the good stuff, but some of that stuff, well, man, most of us didn't have that. Our ancestors who lived hundreds of years didn't have that. Even there's some of them say they cheat. Some of them have little red wine.
So you wanna live to be how old? So you'd be okay living to like 40 more years of life? Do you want to live
60.
60 more years of life you want to live?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
It'll be
think
59 now.
I'm gonna be like stalking you as a ghost. Because I'm gonna be haunting you. The only thing the requirement for me is to live healthy and at ease. I don't know that I want to be here on earth.
For 120 years.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You, well, why would, well, if it was the plan and you said you're healthy and you're moving
I
and if
don't
we don't get in the
know. Or
way, because
maybe I
like
want
I
to
went
go
for that
visit
walk.
somewhere else. I don't
I went
know.
I went for that 10-minute walk today, and I'm telling you, my hips started off funny because and then when I got back here, it was like, thank you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. So I have to continue because it used to be a lifestyle for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why it didn't become the career, the other career, because what people said to me, I'm like, yeah, I know.
But it is
But
now.
I could
It
make
is
it that. I
now.
mean,
It is now
yeah,
because you, as an alchemist, you will have clients that you will have to focus on their diet and nutrition. You will. And their diet
yeah,
and nutrition tells you a lot of what the imbalances are going on in their life. See how I like brought it back to the topic here.
yeah,
Um,
that's true. Yeah, it is. It's an
oh, those
energy.
of you listening, what are you eating? I think that's a really good way to kind of see the level of fulfillment in your life. I think because I was trained at like my health coaching, they talked about the I can't remember what it is, but like they have a plate in their philosophy is that you feed yourself based on your level of fulfillment in your life. So,
Mm.
in this, your cravings show up on your plate. Cravings show up on your plate, and your lack of fulfillment, your current level of fulfillment shows up on your plate. And I remember learning that
Wow.
concept, and I was like, oh my God, that is so true.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
true.
look at what I just bought. Yeah.
Isn't it
Yeah.
true?
Yeah. Yes. 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 What we eat. Cause I looked up, see what for, like she said, for those who are listening, everything is connected. You see, it might seem like we're off topic and people expect everything to be a certain way, but you have to open up your mind. And open up your mind, you will see and connect and get from which we're coming from. That's why we bounce off each other so greatly. So I had recently, and I know that I've been a little off on my own. My little colon is a little bit not happy with me right now, but that's okay. I got it. I understand. So it's just like somebody says is that it was something that one of our other words had posted about, and about it's hard not to do what everyone else is doing. Well, of course, my choice is that what everybody else is doing might not be my for my greatest and highest good, and that comes to eating, because there's a lot of people who eat a lot of sweets, and now I get it. I prefer complex sugars versus simple sugars, but simple sugars are kind of addicting.
They're addicted.
They,
They're very
they, they,
addictive. They're,
they, yeah, I mean, it's just like, wow, okay. So before I lose my thought track, there was several different people that I've looked at, and LeBron has got a whole system at his house. Tony's got his system. I mean, they earned it. I mean, the body is amazing. So I looked at Tom Brady. I said, what does Tom Brady eat? So regardless of anything else, the dude is at his age, and he's younger. It's phenomenal to have played football as long as he did. LeBron for playing basketball as long as he had, and basketball is very tough on the body. They say it's a non-physical contact sport. It's not direct contact as football is, but it's still contact in and of itself. And what you put in your body helps you sustain to be able to do some of the things that you love to do. But sometimes, the pain, you get more pain than not doing it than it is to do the necessary things for you. And that's trying to eat as healthy, eat the fruits. Now, back in the day, fruits were great for me. I got my sweetness and all my stuff from those complex sugars and apples and grapes, peaches and pears, love some peaches and things of that nature. And if I can have a peach pie from Georgia made from scratch, I'll be down there in a moment's drive. So I will do that.
oh, I
So
can do
there's,
that for you.
yeah, energy attached to peaches and food, and it's a whole connection to how you feel. What you eat is how you feel, and I know that my body is like, no, no, you try, but no, we good at how you were doing it. So if somebody has a rib or something else that it's just I can't partake now unless I cook it myself, and even then the body is like saying no. So you have to honor your body in the transition of alchemy, because once you go to a certain spot and give your body, it's just like not giving my body 96 ounces of water after it's been getting it for umpteen years, and you back off of it a little bit, it's not too happy.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
confused.
can't go back. Yeah. And even 64, people say 64 ounces, eight, no, that's 64 ounces. That's not half of my body weight. So the body says you need more. And as you're cleansing, as we're dealing with certain things in our atmosphere, a lot of people getting out all these different things, the body has to be able to flush that out. So if you weigh 180 pounds, the energetic thing is that you get 90 ounces of water. People think that's a lot. No, it's not. Not if you're eating and snacking and doing and moving, then that actually helps you. And if you're eating the quality food that you eat, you don't need a whole bunch of food. You just need the right type of food and eating it at certain designated times throughout. Um, And
Mm.
snacking, the morning is important. You definitely need to hydrate in the morning, and you need to give yourself a nutritional balance. Normally in the morning, that's the time that the body likes to cleanse. So getting up, which has been difficult because, like I said, the battle to be the next me is the battle that the ego and I are having, is that is to have that in enough time where most people like to go to the bathroom, certain things at home. And that's the time where you want to go, is to get up, have some movement. If you got a gazelle or some type of walker, to move in the morning, and to eat and to get that in. And then by the time lunch come, you can have a more heavier meal if you're using meat or something like that. And then dinner is supposed to be lighter, because most of the time, depending on if you're athletic or what you do, or if you have a hobby, then most of the time we're not as busy coming back home, depending on kids, this and that, you're cooking. And most people want to settle down, and most people want to catch a program, and that, so your body is settling down then. And you don't need as much food, but you do need quality salads or lots of food that have liquids in it, because there's an energy connection to what you put in your body, to how you feel in your brain, to alchemize how you want to be on a regular basis, and never to go back. Because if you go back, then you would notice how you feel, or actually how you don't feel. And that's the nature of balancing everything out, getting the spiritual, having the correct food that actually helps you feel better in your mind. All the other foods have depressive effects to it, which is very interesting. And you can test it for yourself. Yeah, you'll easily know the difference. And then cleansing, they have all these methods out here, but you can use spinach, herb blends, and certain things to help your body cleanse without going through chemical cleanses, which really don't help. And I come privy to that, and really like what I learned last year more than what I did know, because things are changing. I knew enough to maintain my body at one time, but I know, being an athlete, having built muscularly built, still am close to where I want to be, has a lot to do with having that system, that balance, that energy, and to honor it versus dismiss it is when the pain sets in. That could be emotionally and physically so.
Mm. Have you ever watched or have you ever seen, it's a British show called The Grand Tour?
No, I haven't.
It's so funny. So it's these three British guys who are friends, and they all have like they're really into like cars, and they have like different adventures they go on, and they all have very unique personality. I'll have to send you the link. It's so
Okay.
funny. It's so funny. Like it's James, Jeremy, and Richard Hammond. Um, so I'll send you the link to it. But we have to wrap up, girl.
Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe that
I'll
might
send it to
be one
you.
of the journeys. I'll be
It's
coaching
so
people on how
entertaining.
to joy,
It's so
on how
entertaining.
to just have fun, man.
Yeah,
You know?
it's such
Because I
a
did
good
it.
show because they explore the world and it's fun and they take you along the adventure and um they've been to some amazingly beautiful places that you can only get there by car.
Oh,
You can
wow.
only like
Okay.
they've been like yeah. And so I think I get the joy of being the freedom of being in the car, being able to explore places that you can't get to by foot as well. So
Or you can experience like being in a plane. There's some things in the plane you experience from being up high, and I've taken a lot of pictures.
yeah,
But in the car, it may take longer, not unless you have a private jet and some other stuff like that. So, I
like
mean, I'm just
she
saying,
has. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, and to experience the road or the side or the sea. There's so many. And then when you take off, and then you get to talk to other people, and people who travel are so cool. They're just cool. They're just fun. They're just cool.
Man, they have
And
interesting
you
stories.
have those conversations, and some of them are just for a hot minute, and then like depending on what you have on your car, like Ozit or something, or military, whatever, and what people have on, invokes conversation. Or if you're wearing a t-shirt or something, invokes conversation. It's just yeah, it's just like that. But connecting to nature, that's one way I do connect with nature, other than walking, is just that I get to see so many different things in so many different places, so many different towns, so many different states. And there's some states that I haven't been to yet, but I want to do it differently because I'm always trying to get from point A to point B. So a lot of people stop and go visit this. Then there's other little, little spots that I missed that where people still use their hands to make unique items, but you have to have a house to do them. It's really I got to love it, or it's got to bring something to me like this here eagle, I got from down yonder there that, was worth, I had to come get it. I had to drive and come get it. Because when nobody ship it to me, they're too scared to ship
She
it.
came and got it, y'all, too. She came and
Yeah,
got it.
so
All right.
yeah.
So we're gonna leave it there. Thank you guys so much for sticking around because it was rough at the beginning. But it must have redirected us to the conversation that we needed to have, and we had the conversation. So comment down below what does balance mean to you? I think we've kind of defined it in our own ways. What does balance mean to you? What does harmony mean to you? Whatever. What balance equals what for you? Comment down below. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. For those of you who are watching, we really appreciate those subscribers. We have some new subscribers on here too. So thank you for that. And for those of you who are watching who haven't subscribed, join the community. You don't want to get left
In the
behind.
conversation.
Yes. So thanks, Warriors, for hanging with me. I know this was a bit rough for you. You weren't really sure about the process going into this. So thank you for going with it. We finally got there. Thanks for being in conversation, and we will see you guys on the next video, the next episode as well.
Much love, y'all. Peace.
Bye.